Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone that put work in this show, and it was a very difficult, and because the work was so good. So, but with me, I am a native Floridian. I was born in Tarpon Springs. I'm the last of 9 children, and so I love Florida, and it certainly has a huge impact on my art that I make. And I was lucky enough to go to college in New York City, where I got a full scholarship. I went to the Cooper Union.
Must be broken.
And then I came back to Florida because I love it. And I've been teaching at Harrison School for the Arts in Lakeland pretty much when I got back from New York. And I've been there for 33 years. And I love teaching. I love sharing information. I love the creative spirit in young artists and really in all artists. So it's, again, wonderful to be here and to be able to look at your work and sort of put it into a group show that has a theme. My art is, I'm a relief sculptor slash painter. I sort of paint with metal and a colorist. So some of you might have seen my work, but not sure. So again, it was very difficult with looking at all this work. It was a tremendous, like 90 some odd pieces.
I think it was 98 pieces we had entered in the show.
You know, and this show is full of paintings and photographs and a few sculptures and some digital work. It was just a variety of everything.
Preston Stafford, this is a photograph entitled Vintage.
Okay. Nice.
And actually, does anybody know where it is?
McKay House.
Uh-huh. Upstairs with, look, the art show hanging in the background. Do you see that? We have an art show we do there every year. So,
all right.
Yeah.
You know, and in selecting this piece, of course, the drama and the mystery, the narrative that Preston is portraying in this piece, because there's a story happening. And of course, it meets the criteria of the thematic show with chairs, windows, and doors. And so that was part in all of my selections that the theme was addressed. But really just the lighting, the composition, the aesthetic, the sensibility. And those of you that know Preston's other work where he is a masterful drawer, I think this has the same components with understanding placement and composition and line and form, and then really introducing that sense of light and the dramatic light, where it's captivating. It holds my attention for more than 5 seconds. I want to figure out what the mystery is. And the print is, you know, it's a masterful print. It's really nice, well done. So the craftsmanship and the skill and technique of photography is addressed. And so it all just came together. And so that's why I wanted to select that piece.
So our next honorable mention goes to Rocky Wells for Tattered Elegance photography.
You know, and this particular piece, I mean, it was speaking to me, not just because of the photograph, but because of the entire presentation. It was just really well thought out. You know, the molding right down to that end, what do you call those things in framing? That inlay? An inlay? No, this.
No, there's like a piece around the mat.
But then similar to what I was talking about with Preston's piece, the drama, the sensibility, the lighting. But in this case, we have color. And it's almost like a sepia tone photograph where it seems aged. And you take this tattered chair and you monumentalize it in this photograph where it almost has human emotions, human characteristics. And I thought that personification of the chair really was profound. And then to make it so monumentalized with the smart molding and just the presentation all coming together as one unit was all purposeful. And it really is a homage to that chair, and it's done in a really elegant way. So, is the artist here? Beautiful job.
Okay, our next honorable mention goes to Mary Worsley for bird watching. And this is a pencil. She's amazing.
And I would invite you all to go up and look closely at this drawing, this pencil drawing, and it's really executed in such a detailed manner, and paying attention to the texture of the wall and really building that texture in such a large space. The technique is excellent, and there's a sense of humor to this piece, which I really liked, and one of the reasons why I chose this, with technical excellence, the sense of humor, and then with aesthetic, to put in this red cardinal, that little piece of red, which gives you that emphasis of, again, the narrative. I'm telling a story, and I don't know, I just think it's such an excellent piece. The folds in the rugs, the sense of depth and space, and keeping it so simple and simplistic.
So the next one's a watercolor by Richard Rano, and it's entitled Waiting Patiently.
Yeah. Is this artist here today?
No, he's actually doing a college tour with his granddaughter.
Oh,
I know.
well, again, I mean, the sensitivity of watercolor as a medium is something that me personally, I gravitate to. I do not do watercolor. I cannot. I've tried, and it just doesn't work with me. I'm too impatient. So I have a respect for the medium. And then to really capture an emotional quality with that medium through the sense of light and form, similar to the photographs that we looked at, but really building all of those beautiful subtleties with the shadows, just really setting that mood. I think being able to pay attention and to fuse that watercolor with a dramatic emotion, I think this artist captured that. This shadow becomes ultra important to make this chair pop out. And again, that personification of a form, the personification of the chair where it takes on human characteristics, I think turns an illustration into a work of art. So I think that this artist does that very well.
So our first award of excellence goes to Bonnie Liss, and this is entitled Threshold. And it is oil.
And this is when it got really tough for me, because the next 6 pieces I find to be excellent, and again, addressing the theme, but really masterful with their techniques. This one also with the presentation and really glorifying this canvas. It makes it even more important. The patterns, you know, and the execution with oil paint, I think, is done tremendously well. But it was, again, it was really tough with the next 6 pieces, including this one. Is this artist here?
No, she's at a class this afternoon.
But I think it's obvious choices. This is in the top of the show. It's really well done. I mean.
The next award of excellence goes to Julian Aosta, and this is entitled
Can we hold this side?
Lone Ranger. Look at that.
So a little adult material, you know. You know, we become the voyeur looking through the window. I mean, she places the
It's a he.
He places the viewer where they're looking at this intimacy between 2 people. But then the electric color, it makes it very pop and playful. And the Lone Ranger on the TV, I mean, there's a certain sense of humor to this. The execution with paint and sensibility of design, I think, are spot on. But again, these next 6 are going to have those characteristics of being the best of show. So that's why it was very tough. But I just love the sensibility of it, the playfulness of it, and you know, there's a stylization to these figures by the sense of color and the sense of design that, you know, there's really, even though this is an intimate moment, it's very playful and sort of childlike. You know. And there were 3 of these. The other 2 are there. And I think they all have equal merit to their accomplishments. But this one stood out. I like the Lone Ranger. But
So our next award of excellence goes to one of those brand new members who's not here. I don't know where she is. Sarah Jones. And this is entitled, Palette Philosophy. What?
no, it's intended to go on its side.
Yep, that's the way she hung it. That's the way she wants it.
You know, and they had a second piece that also made it into the show. But I think the skill that went into this piece and the modeling of form is done in an excellent way. I think that sense of humor of turning the figure in the chair on its side was a smart choice. You know, to give your color scale down here, which is also in the second piece. But that modeling of color and the modeling of that form, I think, are done in an excellent way. And then to put in that flat background color, which makes it just survive in this infinite space, I think are very smart design choices. But yeah, I loved the painting.
So third place is an oil painting by Jean Cormier, and it is The Time in Between. And since he's walking, I'm just going to walk a little closer since it's small so you can see.
And with this painting, when you're looking at it, the confidence of how they've laid down this paint, I mean, it's obvious that they are a trained painter and they're very comfortable with that medium. And I wasn't familiar with this person's work, but it is an excellent solution to the themed show. And using a medium that you're very comfortable with, and it's small, it's intimate, it's private. I mean, there's a lot of expression that goes on in here, and to be that confident and expressive with this medium, I think it's tremendous. It's a wonderful piece.
So second place, this is also a brand new artist who came in this morning. This is Casey Ryan Hall, and the title is Cerberus on the Way to Persephone's. Mixed media.
You know, what I loved about this piece is that experimentation and really pushing the idea of photographic image and painting together. And then having odd shapes that are breaking that picture plane. There's a sense of design in this piece that is someone that really understands design, perspective, and then fusing it all together on a flat plane that becomes an object because of the shape. So there's painting, there's photography, there's sculpture, there's a sense of the movement through the design. And when you remove all the images and just look at the line quality, this composition is really masterful. It's laid out on so many different picture planes. And again, these last six pieces, I mean, they're all tremendous. But what I responded most about this is that experimentation, fusing history with current day, modern times. The car window, the door, the mirror becomes this wonderful foreground depth, but then it's all flattened on purpose. So it's some really great choices going on.
Best of show goes to Mark Kelvington. This is an acrylic, and the title is Embracing Art Deco.
Hallelujah.
Is he here today?
He's back there.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much.
Well, I was super drawn to this piece, and I mentioned I'd gone to college in New York City, and the Chrysler Building is probably my favorite man-made structure I've ever seen. And the land underneath the Chrysler Building paid for me to go to college, because the land that is under that was owned by Peter Cooper, and so his dream was that everyone should have an opportunity for a good education and not pay for it. So the land underneath the Chrysler Building, all the money that generates from renting it goes to Cooper Union to pay for people to go to school. So the depth in this piece, the detail, and then thematically staying true to chairs, windows, and doors. I find this to be such a wonderful statement in design. And it really, it ties into the theme. It's just a beautiful, beautiful painting, the sense of depth, the subtlety. I mean, I think we can all admire it just by the pure nature of how it's done. You know, aesthetically building that space, from atmosphere to, you know, the architecture of the Chrysler building, even these subtleties of the lit windows.
What is that? That's
Acrylic on,
Acrylic, yeah.
yeah, and again, this is one you want to get close to and look at and just admire all the activity that's going on, because there's multiple things happening in here.